when you print money, the value of this money goes down. It's like when you provide milk from your sheep and you just pour water in the milk. It's less milk, bro.
Simply flooded the system with money.
Yes, we did. That's another way to think about it.
Why this should be valuable in the next, let's say, 10 years? This is software. Why it cannot be hacked? I started just asking all these questions to myself, and then I started finding the answers. Because the main idea is not just making money, it's solving a problem. And the technology built on it is genius.
Welcome to the We Are Satoshi podcast. This is the show where I interview people about the gifts they're bringing to the world. Satoshi gifted us Bitcoin so that we could bring our best version of ourselves to the world in this short life that we have. Bitcoin is not just about number go up. It's not an investment. It's actually a revolution. And so today I'm interviewing someone who's mining Bitcoin with off-grid solar energy. His name is Angel, and he's got a very interesting Bitcoin story. We talk about that. We talk about the lessons learned from his father, who was a businessman and who actually became orange-pilled very quickly. So a number of different things in this episode caught my attention. I learned a lot in this one, so I hope you do too. Let's get into the show.
My journey in Bitcoin is very interesting, and I love speaking about it, man.
Floor is yours, man. I want to hear.
So I went to university, as I believe you know, or you don't know yet, but I'm an engineer. I studied for a wireless engineer, wireless communications engineer in the Sofia Technical University. Over there, I met a guy who, it was 2013, and he told me about, hey, have you heard about Bitcoin? And I said, yeah, in some forum or something like this. Back in the days, it was forums. He said, yeah, this is something which you can mine with your own computer. And I was like, man, what is this scam? That's, I believe, every Bitcoiner first impression. Everyone first impression is this when you put it under start to consider if this is something real or not. So, but he started saying that he started mining it with his own CPU back in the days, and he managed to mine like 30 or 40 Bitcoins, and then he kept them for a couple of months, and then the 2013 bull run where the Bitcoin was $1,000, and he said, I bought a laptop, I bought an iPhone, I'm rich. Anyway, he mentioned this to me, and I started thinking, because currently at that point of time, when I looked at the prices, it was the first bull run, the first balloon. We used to say this is a balloon which is about to go to the bear market, where the prices are much higher, and everything looks pink, and you can make money like this. You can just buy a machine, you become millionaire in 1 week. That's like everybody, not everybody, but that's like the journey of my personal journey when I started. Everything looks good. And now I can understand how people who come to buy Shiba Inu think that they're gonna become millionaires. But nowadays, I'm just comparing the situations, how I felt back in the days. So what I did, I decided that I'm going to start mining Litecoin, though, because when I did my own research back in the days, that looked like a profitable way to make money. I didn't even think about Bitcoin or the real problem it solves. I was just curious about making money, obviously, back in the days. So I was a student. I didn't have any money. I didn't work. So I came home and I shared the idea with my father, who, by the way, is a farmer. He's in the agricultural business. But he is a good businessman. So I shared with him this idea. And of course, he was very against it at the first time. But I told him, listen, if we invest, just buy 4 GPUs, that's like 3,000 leva. We can mine, and currently, based on the prices, we are going to make like 10,000 per year, something like this. And he said, you know what, I'm just gonna give you the money, do whatever you want. You'll see that this is not a way how you make money in life. So he just wanted to give me a lesson. So he gave me the money. I bought the GPUs. I started mining Litecoins. And the first 2 weeks, the first month, it was good. The prices were still high enough. And he was just asking me, okay, how much did you make today? How much did you make today? It was funny. Anyway, the bear market came, and we decided that obviously I didn't take the right decision. But one thing that he said is this: listen, because I told him, do you want to sell? I mean, we're gonna be like 2K down, but at least to take some money out. We're on loss, but we can still take some money out. He said, listen, for this amount of money, we're good, we're okay, we still have bread to eat. I still can continue doing my business.
There he is. We got the legend George Monolov in the house.
Yes.
What's going on, man? Welcome.
Sup? So he said, listen, we're fine. We just leave it like this. If it goes to zero, it's zero. We don't care. We are not poor. I mean, just follow it. You learn the lesson. You know that you need to work hard for your money. Obviously, I continued just during the years. I continued just following the prices. They went even more lower and lower and lower. It was an awful bear market. The Litecoin was $2, which went down from 50, to 2.
96%.
Yeah,
something like that.
something like this. Anyway, the interesting is because I was still looking for prices, there wasn't a way I cannot learn about the industry. First, about the industry, because I was actively just monitoring prices, following news, etc., etc. And also, one of the important things is the oldest Bulgarian community forum, Bitcoin community forum. It's called #BG. There were the first Bitcoiners over there. The first Bitcoiners in Bulgaria, they were over there. And I was actively reading it. And these people, they said, don't worry, guys, this is normal. Just buy more. Bitcoin is fixing banking, And then I was interested about the idea behind Bitcoin. And okay, this thing went down. It's $200. So why they think it's gonna go up again? So I started learning. I started, asking the most general questions. Why this should be valuable in the next, let's say, 10 years? Why this is software? Why it cannot be hacked? I started just asking all these questions to myself, and then I started finding the answers. Blockchain, the first technology, the first product and technology, because Bitcoin is the first blockchain and the first product on blockchain technology. Then why it's valued? Why it should be valued again in the next, in the future, in the near future, in the far future, anyway, because obviously it has limited supply, which is against the banking policy currently. So why the people will continue mining if the prices are lower? Well, that's exactly why the prices will go higher, because people will want to have piece of the pie, because that's how the mining reward was built from Satoshi, which is genius, I think, with the 4-year halvings. So all this stuff I started, with the time, during the bear market, I just started consuming and started understanding about Bitcoin and about the main idea. It's not about making profits from mining. It's about solving a huge problem. And one day I came down, here with my father, we were speaking. So I'm sharing with him about Bitcoin and what I'm reading, and there are people here in the community, they're saying it's gonna go up. And he says, well, yeah, if it goes up, that's good. We can, withdraw some profits, and then you can take your share. But then I started telling him that it's gonna go up because of this and that. Obviously, I was focused in studying. I was not a good expert in world economics, but because he's a businessman, he understood it. And I'm sharing the technical part of the Bitcoin as an engineer and what I understood and what I have learned. I'm sharing with him, and then he understands it, and he's sharing the economical part. And it was like you were enlightened, just like you saw Jesus and now you're a Christian. This is the way where I became orange pilled. Because I'm sharing this with him and he's asking all these questions again. Okay, why cannot it be hacked? And I'm telling him, listen, because it's decentralized. There are miners all over the world. If you hack one miner, the other ones will, they make the calculations, and obviously the majority will say that what is the right calculation. So you cannot hack one miner. You need to hack everybody, but only in a 10-minute time, because this is the block time which will be generated. Every block generates in approximately 10 minutes. And I'm sharing this with him, the technical part. And he says, okay, why is it going to be valuable? I'm telling him, listen, because it's going to be only 21 million. And it's going to be mined in 2140 year. In year 2140. And he's like, this stuff is going to be very, very, very valuable in the near future. We need to buy more. And he became a Bitcoiner. And also, I just saw his reaction and I was, why do you think that way? And he said, because this is scarcity. This is scarcity. If it works the way how you explain it, this is going to be very valuable because it's scarce. If it's not, fine. We'll continue just working. I mean, what are we going to lose? This is just an opportunity which you take in something you believe, not because somebody told you to believe. Nobody came and told me buy Bitcoin. Just another Bitcoiner shared with me the idea, and then I had to take my own journey to study it and to force myself to be part of the Bulgarian community so I can not sell and just dump it, just fuck it. So I was forced by myself to learn about it. And then once I learned it, of course, I'm always saying this, but it was because of his economical view of the world. And then he mentioned that this is going to be valuable because it's scarce. And that's the way how we became Bitcoiners. So I explained to him about the halvings and the halving cycles, although it was just one cycle already, only in the 2011 or 12. Yeah, 11. No, 2012 halving was the first. So we were waiting for the 2016 year, and then the halving came. And then we said, okay, so now we expect the price to go higher in the next year. And that's exactly what happened. The price went up to, before I say what did it went up, we had a strategy. All the Litecoins we mined, because we mined Litecoins, unfortunately, all the Litecoins we mined, they, half of them will be moved to Bitcoin because of what we noticed, and half of them we keep, and if the Litecoin goes to $100, we sell. We don't sell 99, we sell 100. That's our main goal. We don't care about the rest. Either we make money or we're at zero. So the bear market came, we went all the way up. We were on profit already from what we have spent for the miners and for the electricity. But we said, no, we have a strategy. We keep it. That's it. We wait for Litecoin to go to 100. So we waited, and it went to 100 on the 1st of December, 2017. I called him. I was in Sofia. I called him, listen, Litecoin is $100. He said, okay, so sell. That's our strategy. But the moment we sold to, you see the profits. it's not like huge, tremendous amount of profits, but this is a profit which came from my idea. I was proud of myself. But he said, listen, Bitcoin is going to be valuable. Don't spend this money. Let's just reinvest. Let's just buy more Bitcoin because this thing is going to be millions in the next years. Well, I had to treat myself, of course. So I just bought some stuff. Anyway, but the rest of the money I kept in Bitcoin. Not so much. It's not some tremendous amount of money, but what I could, I kept it in Bitcoin. And the most important thing about my journey, I believe, is I wasn't involved in the right time where I had some extra money when I could buy some more. But what I could, a fraction of it, and where I could, a fraction of it, I took the opportunity and I just bought it and I collected it and kept it, preserved it, didn't spend it. Even there were periods where I had to switch jobs and I have like 50 days until my salary. And it was very, very, very shitty period. But I said, I'm not gonna sell my Bitcoin. Just because of this, it's gonna pass. It's gonna be over, I know. Just stick to the plan. Don't sell. And that's it, basically. That's how I was involved in Bitcoin. And I'll never forget one of the lines, one of the comments in the forum I was telling you about, the oldest forum in Bulgarian Bitcoin Bulgarian community. There is one guy, which now is a friend of mine. If you're watching this, cheers. And during the bear market after 2017, Bitcoin came down from 20K to 3K for 1 year. Everybody around me, haha, you see, you were not right. And when everybody around you is telling you this, you even start putting doubts if you're right or not. But I just type #BG and I open the forum and I see, ignore the noise, follow the signal. This made me like, I'm getting goosebumps. This is the thing which just kept me in the right direction. And yeah, that's it. Just I read this and I say, okay, yeah, of course it's gonna be just 4 more years. What the fuck? I mean, even I have more opportunity to buy more if I have some extra money, which eventually had some periods where I could buy some more, but still, that's the way how I felt back in the days. Because that's it's normal for a person to think like this. Psychology, everybody around you is telling you that you're stupid, you start feeling stupid. Everybody around you is telling you that Bitcoin is a scheme. Maybe you start feeling that this may be a scam or a scheme or a pyramid, or it's gonna go to zero. Then I go back home, I enter the forum, I read this, okay, I'm on the right path. Everybody around me, they are just not educated. And that really is the way it is, unfortunately. They were not educated. Some of them, they are not yet. Some of them, they are. Some of them bought more. Some of them listened to me back in the days. Some of them started trading shitcoins back in the days. But yeah, I mean, I know lots of people. Even I made a lot of stupid mistakes, and I lost some small of it, some portion of what I get. But still, I mean, the main idea of Bitcoin is, that's what I love about Bitcoin, because the main idea is not just making money; it's solving a problem, and the technology built on it is genius. I don't know if in the next 50 years there is going to be something which will compromise the technology, but currently, for the past 16 years, there isn't. There is no point for me to believe that this is gonna happen. So I just enjoy every day just knowing that I have some satoshis. And yeah, that's it. Of course, from the forum, I started making friends. I met George back in the days in one of the crypto revolution organized by Splum, the first one. Then he said that he's gonna be in Plovdiv making Bitcoin Plovdiv meetups. That's exactly when I came back here, by the way, from Sofia. So Plovdiv is closer. So I said, perfect. I'm gonna attend every meetup just because we need to, increase the number of people going there. We need to support each other. I love the idea. I'll be there.
Beautiful, man. Wow, what a story. So you got a ton of value out of being able to go to hash.bigA and actually find signal. Back then there was only one place, it sounds like, where nowadays there's so many different resources and places to go. And if I'm understanding correctly, that feeling, that experience you have drove you to actually attend meetups, go to George's events. What do you think the value is? What value can come from bringing people together in real life? Like forums and Twitter and those things are fine, but what's the difference between like when people get together in real life?
Well, first of all, again, I still think, there is one common line. We are still early. I believe you know this. I still think that we are early. Just because not everybody around me knows the idea behind Bitcoin. So until then, I still think that we are early. Still early about adoption, not about price. Price-wise, everybody deserves the price when they get in the train. If you get late, you go on the back, on the middle class, on the third class. Anyway, no, just a joke. So this is normal. This is normal in every opportunity in life. The people who bought Manhattan in the 19th century, obviously, they became rich because they took the opportunity early and they had a vision. Here, it's not about I have a vision or you have a vision. It's about understanding that there is a global issue and then a technology comes and this might be the potential salvation or solving the issue. So once you understand that, I believe that's it. And bringing more people to this community helps more people understanding this idea, because I remember even the first time when I went to this my first meetup, it was not because I understood Bitcoin. It was because I was just involved in mining and I wanted to meet some other people doing this, to maybe get some other information, to get some new ideas, maybe, for example. But I didn't understand Bitcoin. And when I went there to the first meetup, I started listening to people explaining about this, explaining about blockchain, why it's going to be valued, why it should be considered as a potential, solving the world's economic issue, for example. I don't know if I said it correctly, but yes. So bringing more people to these events just increase the knowledge about Bitcoin amongst everybody around us, and that's what I think is the value of these events and meetups.
Yep. Now you've mentioned a couple times this global issue. They say that the biggest, most successful technologies, the things that reach massive success, the steam engine, the automobile, they solve problems that are very large, right?
Yes.
And I think we're talking about maybe the biggest problem that humanity has ever had, which is the debasement of the money. Can you give me a little bit more on what that problem really is? Like, what is the problem with money?
My opinion, you mean? I'm not an expert, so just to disclose that. But my opinion, because what I think, as a community, people, we do some labor. We exchange labor for money. because obviously you cannot grow tomatoes and have sheep, for example. Maybe you can, but it's going to be time consuming. So if you just grow more tomatoes, you can get some money and then go to the next village to the person who have sheep and buy milk with this middle exchange called money. But the debasement is about some governments who think that they can print money so they can help their countries, for example. I'm not gonna say which one, but we all know which one. I think that every government in the world is doing it. Just some do it on bigger scale, some not that bigger scale, but still, when you print money, the value of this money goes down. It's like when you provide milk from your sheep and you just pour water in the milk. It's less milk, bro. You cannot sell it for the same amount of pure milk, you know. So when you do some labor, let's say you work 8 hours and you get X amount of money and you can afford some things which are needed in life, in 2 years you can afford less. So this is the problem about inflation and about the debasement of money, because the labor of the people becomes less expensive, for example, less valuable. So the labor of the people becomes less valuable. But the people still work for the same amount of time. And the time is something which you cannot buy. You cannot stop, you cannot slow down, you cannot speed up. So at the end of the day, when you think about it, you still work for 8 hours a day. For example, you spend 8 hours working for the community so you can get money which are less valuable. You can buy less things with this. Your home is much more expensive. Your future home, for example. The vehicles are more expensive. Everything is more expensive. So everything goes down to time. And by the way, I don't know if I explained this correctly. As I said, I'm not an expert. That's what I like about this. Satoshi, when he invented the blockchain, he said one of the rules is that one block is being mined or solved, every 10 minutes. So in this equation, we have the time also, which is very important for the blockchain to work. This cannot be changed, obviously, and the time cannot be speed up or slowed down, as I mentioned. So I believe if Satoshi didn't invent that and didn't include time in this complicated equation about how the blockchain works, I wouldn't think that we would be sitting here right now, because this is very important. Because time cannot be manipulated. And it's just part of the equation, and now the whole equation cannot be manipulated. Even if you hack some amount of machines, you cannot hack all of them, because the next block will come in the next 10 minutes or 5 minutes or less. I mean, approximately 10 minutes, this is how it works. That's what I enjoy. And that's why I like the technology, and that's why I think it's going to be valuable as well.
For someone who doesn't understand Bitcoin mining, can you give us just how does Bitcoin mining work? Like what are miners doing, and what part of the entire Bitcoin protocol, how does mining fit into that?
Well, mining is not the right word, first of all. Let me share that, because not everybody knows that. You're not actually mining Bitcoins. You're just supporting the network, and then the incentive is the reward you receive from the blockchain. So actually, you support a network because you give some proof of work to the network, and you support it. You do some calculations with your own machines, so you receive some small reward about it. Depends on the scale you have, on the power you can provide. So that's how mining works. It's actually very complicated math operations, which are important for. I'm just getting my thoughts here.
Yeah, take your time. It's my understanding is like it's guessing a random number. Hashing is guessing random numbers.
Well, yes, but
It's
also
not necessarily solving a complex math problem. Some people say that. It's more just
no. The blockchain can work with 2 machines. It can work with 2 million machines.
right.
So, but that's why it's in my opinion, that's why it is important and why it's gonna keep growing, because everybody wants a piece of the pie. But the good thing, the good and the beautiful thing for the mining is that, as I mentioned, the Bitcoin blockchain can still work with 2 machines. Yes, it's gonna be very easy to be manipulated, but it's still workable. It's still online. Although I don't think we're gonna see a scenario where just 2 machines will be online. They just keep growing and growing, and the more the hash rate is, the more the machines are, the hard it gets to be hacked or manipulated.
My understanding is that for the first maybe 6 months of Bitcoin, Satoshi and Hal Finney were the only 2 people mining. Maybe there was only literally 2 or 3 machines.
Yeah, exactly.
And you also said something which, we're still early in terms of adoption, maybe not in terms of price. When someone asks you like, oh man, I missed the boat, like I'm too late. Maybe you're too late to get to 1 full Bitcoin, but there's only 21 million Bitcoin and 8 billion people. So not everyone's going to get to 1 Bitcoin. How do you respond when someone says that?
Just exactly like you said it. Why do you think that you're too late? What do you want to have 1? You don't need to have 1 Bitcoin so you can just secure your future, or just put some value which is easily movable across the world. Just imagine something happen. Just imagine, let's say, a war spreads out tomorrow, and you want to go somewhere safe. What, you're gonna bring your gold or your paper, useless money in some other country? What are you going to do with it? You cannot bring your gold on a plane. Yeah, maybe you can just do some earrings, but still. And what I used to say, because I love orange peeling people, because they always try to ask me, everybody asks me the same questions. Hey, why you don't think this is a scam? And I'm telling them why. I'm explaining them all the thing I have learned. Just the way how I asked the same question to myself and I had to study, just giving this information. So they are asking me all these questions, and then I'm explaining them just the way how I get enlightened, and I can see the look on their faces, how they look when they get enlightened as well. So now, man, you just go and put 50 level, buy some Bitcoin, not because you're going to get rich, because you have value in something which you can store, you can move across the world, and you can liquidate as quickly as possible. Just do the first step. That's what I'm telling them. Just do the first step. Think about it that way. You missed the train to become millionaire because you didn't buy Bitcoin when it was $10. I didn't either.
Is this your guy picking up
This is the
solar
guy with the
panels?
solar panels, I
Cool,
believe,
we got
yes.
a nice little pause, and I have a good question to ask you when we get back.
If you're building on Bitcoin or just trying to stay focused in a noisy world, you need energy, not another crash from coffee or sugary drinks. That's why in 2023, I founded EARTHY. EARTHY is a natural energy beverage. It tastes like hot chocolate, comes in a powder. You can do 1 scoop, 2 scoops before the gym, before you work. This product is made to give you long-lasting, clean, sustained energy. So if you're ready to level up your energy, cognition, your focus, you gotta try some EARTHY Energy. The link is down below. Now let's get back to the show.
Talk to me about the process of getting the solar setup and everything that you're doing here. Did you have the solar first and then you realized you could mine Bitcoin, but you were already mining Bitcoin? So maybe just like describe like the setup itself. What does it look like? How many miners do you have? Just kind of for someone who's just listening.
Okay, well, first of all, I was involved in Bitcoin mining back in the days in 2017, but there was, I mined for a year and then I just left it because there was no point when you had to pay the electricity bill here in Bulgaria. The prices are, compared to the West, the prices are low, but compared to other places on Earth, the prices are high. So currently, if you do the math, if you pay the electricity bill, there is no point to mine Bitcoin currently. So I decided not to not to continue mining anymore because it's not worth it. It's better just to buy Bitcoin if you have this amount of money to invest in miners and pay the electricity bill here in Bulgaria. So I stopped. Anyway, and now last year, me and my father decided to invest in this solar system because we expect the energy prices to go higher in the near future because of the rationalizing of the energy market in Europe in general, in Bulgaria as well, because it's part of Europe now, European Union. So we expect just the price that will go higher. So we decided that it's gonna be good if we invest in a solar setup, which could just power the home. Obviously, we are two houses, two families in this at this place, but the heating is the main consumption during the winter. So if you do the investment and buy the whole thing, let's say you calculated it's gonna cost you X amount of money, but if you increase the power twice, it's not gonna cost you twice X the amount of money because the whole setup is already done. You just need to just place some more panels. So we decided that it's going to be good if we just invest a little bit more money to have higher, let's say, bigger battery and higher power generation from the sun during the winter season. Which of course means that during the summer, spring and autumn, we have a lot of excessive energy. So I told him, listen, if we mine Bitcoin, we can monetize this excessive energy. He said, yes, and just do it. But he's like, yeah, you just plug the miners, that's it, it works. I told him I need to do a little bit working here because we need to do this with an automation because I don't want to go every morning, plug, unplug. If the clouds come, I need to unplug, etc. You know, this is no point in doing this. So based on the experience I already had, I knew that what issues I might face during the whole process. Also because I studied some of this in university, I just managed to build it up in my brain, you know, just like the whole picture. And then I started executing step by step. First of all, I had to learn how to read the inverter data. I found it. It was 1 week constant tests. Finally did it. Anyway, yes, then after that, I had to build up a server which could read this data and based on that to give commands to the miners. And yeah, it took me like 2 weeks after that, but it worked. And now it's working. And now if you can hear the miner just stop because there is no more sun powering the panels and giving power to the inverter. So pretty much that's it. And one more thing I would like to say about this is just another view or another point of view where Bitcoin gives you freedom. Because now in this situation, I'm forced just to leave this excessive energy to be, not to be used for me. I cannot sell it. And, you know, the power regulators here, they have some very tough regulations and I cannot just sell to the grid with snap of a finger. So I decided not to go there. It's very, very, very hard, especially for small setups like mine. So I didn't have a choice. I cannot sell the excessive power. And here comes the Bitcoin giving me the option to monetize this excessive power by just generating some extra satoshis per day. And that's why I enjoy the most, because Bitcoin is giving you freedom not only in this economic and this sense of point of view, as we already discussed. This is just another example of how Bitcoin gives you freedom, because I don't need to go to the regulators to sell them this energy. I can just buy machines and support the network and then get rewarded.
That's awesome, man.
Yes.
So what situations would it make sense to install the solar? It sounds like you guys have a vision
pretty obvious in my view as well that energy costs are going to keep going up. But is it for everybody? Like, would you recommend this to like anyone, or in what scenarios would this make sense for people and what scenarios would it not? Obviously you need to own a property or have a place that you can install them. If you rent an apartment in the city, you're probably not installing solar panels on your balcony, you know?
Yes, unfortunately, not for everybody, just because it depends on the property type you're living in. As just you mentioned, if you're living in a flat, you cannot just install 3-4 solar panels on the balcony. You cannot just use the ceiling because it's not yours, except if you don't own it. But I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, if you own a small house, doesn't matter. You don't need to. In our case, these are two separate houses. We calculated that we want to generate this amount of power during the winter, you know, which could be enough for heating both homes, because the heating is powered by not by gas, or it's air conditioning type. It's called thermal pump. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, like thermal energy type of thing. Like it's down in the ground, like they build a pipe.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the one. So it costs, you know, power to heat the homes. And that's why our setup is a little bit bigger, but doesn't matter. I mean, if you have smaller setup, you don't need to buy 6 machines. You can buy 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Still, you can use it. Still.
And are you still connected to the grid? Like if there's like a
Yes.
week where it's just clouds, like
Yes.
you can, okay,
Yes.
cool.
Everything is fully automated. I don't do anything.
Uh-huh.
Right now, if the clouds come and if the battery drains a little bit, the miners are being tuned to mine on 75% power, so they are reduced.
Are there
cases the clouds are, let's say, just passing by.
Yeah. Are there best practices for the battery? Like you don't want to drain it all the way. Do you want to does it stop at 20%, 40%?
No, the main purpose here is to use the excessive energy for mining. So the battery is just I think it's very important to have battery just because you can use it as a buffer. As a buffer in case the setup cannot react as fast to reduce the miners, you know, so which could cause problems. So in the perfect scenario, even if you have a smaller or larger solar setup, battery is necessary if you want to mine Bitcoin. Even a small one, just use it as a buffer. You don't need to mine on it, but let's say if the clouds come for 5 or 10 minutes, you're fine. The battery will handle it. When the clouds go away, the battery is being charged again. So it's good. If you don't have a battery, it's very hard, in my opinion, because you cannot predict every moment what the weather will be and if there are going to be clouds or not.
Right.
I mean, technically you can, but I think it's more complicated.
Okay.
More complicated.
And does the battery have a lifespan? Or does it, after a certain amount of years, need to be replaced? Like, what are the biggest costs and maintenance and things like that?
The batteries, especially this one which I used in the system, they're like new generation batteries, and they are not lithium polymeric. They are lithium metal, I believe. That's the right term. Exactly, lithium metal iron, something like this. I'm not sure if I pronounce it in the right way in English. But what I read about it, it's okay for the life. Though they have 10 years of warranty. So I think I'm covered. Even if I use the battery as a buffer, I'm not using it to mine Bitcoin in general on a battery to drain and then recharge it back. In the end of the day, this is the battery's job to provide you power when you don't have. So currently, that's why I'm doing it just as a buffer, because if the clouds come, I don't need to be worried if the machines are going to be taking power from the grid.
Yeah, the other element of it is forget the mining of Bitcoin, but just having the sovereignty of actually having energy if the grid goes down. In Seattle this year, we had a big windstorm, 6 days. There was over 500,000 people without power. people couldn't charge their cars. Like the lines at the Tesla places were hours and hours. People waited 6 hours to charge their cars, things like that.
Insane.
So people, like, one of the things that I like to say to people is like, Bitcoin gives you optionality. It doesn't just give you like the ability to save your purchasing power and save your energy over time. It actually gives you the ability, like you mentioned, to take your wealth across borders. And if you have a system like you have, and there's you can power, you know, all types of machinery that we're hearing behind us. So you're going to give a talk on, my understanding is you're going to give a talk on Monday to help people understand like how to have their own setup. Can you give us like a high level of what you plan on talking about?
Well, it's gonna be more or less just like this conversation. I'm gonna just, well, not that detailed, obviously, because it has to be shorter. But yes, I'm gonna just explain to them. First of all, I want to mention what is Bitcoin mining in very simple way, because people, most of the people don't understand it. And then I can explain how, you know, you can. I'm just gonna use this word again, monetize the free energy if you have already a solar system. I plan to speak about my experience, about what problems, what issues I have faced during the whole process, how the main idea came up in my head, and how I executed it in general. And also I plan to do some ROI sheet, which is quite interesting because it's gonna be based on Satoshis. Yes, because I think this is the real currency which we need to debase.
So you have an added layer of mathematics in there where you have to calculate how valuable those Satoshis are over time, or are you just denominating in Satoshis?
Yeah, denominating it.
Okay.
Let's say right now, if you want to invest in this, for example, setup, you invest X amount of Satoshis currently, right now, based on this price. What are the expected returns? Because it's going to be it's easier to calculate. Of course, it's better, you know, like it looks like you're going to get higher returns. But actually, it's easier to calculate based on the returns, because with these machines, you're not mining dollars, you're not mining euro, you're mining Satoshis. So that's why I decided to do this, because it's the main idea, you know, to use Bitcoin.
All right, man. Well, now we're going to have some meat on the barbecue.
Yes.
And fly the drone and see what the solar panels look like. So, Angel, thank you so much.
Pleasure
man.
speaking with you.
Pleasure speaking with you. Yeah, I learned a lot in this one. It's really cool.